Hey everybody! Welcome to the finale of the New England farmhouse renovation. So for all those who've been keeping track and following along on YouTube, this would technically be day number 75. So 75 days it took us to get from start to finish, if we were going to do it straight, to complete what we did on the New England farmhouse renovation. So this is pretty much our wrap video. And so I want to show you a lot of the before and afters of what this project looked like as we started way back in December to where it is now. And in order to do that, we're going to do a couple of cuts, show you some great before and after photos, and then just give a narration to really explain the project as it goes. But in the meantime, here we are in the barn, and this is important because we're in Bay 2 of the barn, and this is technically the wood shop. And the whole point of what Colored Spots was trying to do in this project, what Liz and I were trying to do for this project, was find a new home for us here. And we chose Charlton, Massachusetts for that home. And the barn is going to be Colored Spots' home. We've got a great workshop upstairs. We're going to be offering classes and we're going to be working on projects. We've got a great wood shop here where I can continue all my custom carpentry and built-ins and cabinetry and furniture making. And we've got another spot in the back where Colored Spots can have its office, where people can come and we can talk them through their projects. And their projects can be wide-ranging from design and consultations all the way up to project management, and then getting into the nitty-gritty of actually getting it done, because that's what I'm known for. It's where I got my background in, just grabbing the bit between my teeth and then running with it until the project is done. And so that's what we did with the New England farmhouse, 75 days, and let's go check it out. So here we are in bay number 2. And we're going to go through our little side door here, which is still functioning slide door, and then into bay number 1. Now this bay number 1 is going to become a common area for the barn and the farmhouse. We're going to finish it off. We're going to insulate the ceiling, put in a wall with some double doors. We're going to keep these great sliding doors because they still work, but we're going to put a second envelope in here and then create a common area, as I said. This common area is going to give us access to the backyard through this door here, which is where we're going to have our main parking off of the busy front street. And then we're going to have additional parking there. And then that's where Colored Spots' office is going to be back there. So once we get that all wrapped up, we're going to have a little mud room here. We're going to have a laundry room. We're going to have a half bath. And that's all going to be to kind of service everything we're doing here. This staircase, of course, when we do get into that project, is going to be all reworked. So we're pretty much experts at staircases now, and we're going to just make this a lot more appeasing for entrance from the side and then into the farmhouse itself. And let's go do this. So 75 days, here we go. Now this door was always here. This was a side door, wasn't the main door, but it got you into the barn, and this is our connecting wall between the farmhouse and the barn. And then this wall, as you remember, this used to take us directly into the kitchen, and then we had a cupboard there. Well, the cupboard's been blown out, and now we walk directly into the dining room. And we're all staged. We got Nacha and Trix over here. They're testing out the floor, and they're seeing how our weathering and our distressed work and treatment on this is really holding up. And so far, so good with those little paws of theirs. These pieces here, these came from Raton, and we're using them to stage. These were just two great little cabinet pieces that we had. They're both the same. They give us additional storage here. And this one, the top was taken off, and we use it for seating and then eating. And of course, if you're coming in with some groceries, they can go right there on top. That's the hallway. That really begs to be finished off with a couple of shelves, some hooks, even a seat bench that Liz has an idea is going to wrap around, just so that we can have a space to put on and off our shoes. And then here we go into the dining room, which is a good size, and it's nice and open. And we've been here now a couple of nights, and we're just living. And we thought we might get a little bit of a fishbowl feel, but we didn't put any blinds on these windows. It's not that bad. We don't have any direct line of sights with any other houses. And at night, it's just really comfortable and nice because all of the lighting in here is very soft and indirect. which means we don't feel like we're on display. In here in the kitchen, we just had some little bits to finish up, some finishing touches if you would. We put our over-the-range microwave in, which is a combo microwave and vent. Right now it's just got a small shelf up here that really wants to have some custom cabinetry put in, plus the vent to be vented outside through an existing vent that was here when the microwave used to be there. Now that stove used to be all the way over to the right. It used to be pushed all the way to the right because where it is now was a doorway. And so we've opened it up and we've spread it out, and this is going to have a little countertop that's going to extend here and then there, and that's going to give us more surface area to cook, and we like to cook. So that's going to be great. The only other thing that we did in here which made a huge difference was we took our old faucet and we replaced it with a Moen high faucet here, and that's one of those combo ones. And that's just going to make it a lot easier to wash the pots and the pans. The sink, it's stainless steel, it's an industrial sink, a little wire brush on there, and everything came out, and that's perfectly happy for us to work with. We had a great little dishwasher here. It's nothing fancy, but it works just fine. The refrigerator was repurposed, it fits in that nook, and now we've got kind of a pretty open space here. So that was it. We know the bathroom was done. We've seen plenty of that. We don't need to go in there. But here we are on the staircase. Now this staircase is really the centerpiece of this house. Now I got it finished off and we had to get a permit for it so that it was all brought up to code, and the building inspector came in and he gave us a really rave reviews for the fitting the staircase in here and then getting it and making sure that it was to code. And if you're looking to undertake a project like this, I gotta tell you, you have to really have some experience in drafting and a lot of patience. So think about that if you do have a staircase that you do want to undertake. And you know, if you really have questions, you can contact me because I don't mind at all. Now we did clapboard up and we got everything all painted here, so you can see how this is all finished and sealed off from the basement, and then this creates our hallway here. Now the hallway goes past the main entrance door, which we haven't really done too much to except to paint, and then into the living room. And we've seen plenty of the living room. And we've got it all kind of laid out, and we've got the couch over there and the TV, and we're all hooked up. A couple of very modest recliners that are in place, and then for right now, my workstation is in here. And for those who've kind of really been following me over the years, you know that this workstation that I'm on here is something that I've worked on previously, and I don't like it. It's not very comfortable. In fact, wanting to get out of this workstation is what really got me involved in creating and selling my furniture on Etsy. In fact, it's what got me involved in building and fabricating that Ergo Steampunk computer desk. But I don't have the room in here to put it in right now, so I'm kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back on that. But once we get everything all wrapped up there in the barn, well, then we'll have a great spot for colored spots, and we'll be able to put that all in there. So I want to show you a couple of details we did here on this staircase. Now this is the same clapboard we have on the inside wall. We did do the bull noses on the outside of the stairs, and then they overlap. Just the clapboard just a bit, just enough so that it kind of hides any imperfections. And we get a lot of imperfections in a house that really doesn't have a square wall, and level is more of a suggestion than any type of necessity. So then coming around here, these railings really played an important role in things. I wanted to have a railing set that really kind of fit with the look of the house, that really kind of cottage feel, and it was Liz who said, well, why don't we do different size spindles or balusters? And so that different size baluster cut into every single step as it goes up provided a degree of strength to this that we wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Now, I made and fabricated all of these railing pieces, and I did it out of common stock 2x4s and 4x4s, and the spindles are also out of common stock called 5x4s, which is basically just a little over an inch wide board. So this was all stuff that you can get off of it, right up to these very top railings, which are burl 2x4s that I cut down and I trimmed, and I got to code, which has a specific cut to them so that you can grab each railing and be able to grab it on each side and then hold. Now, when we really came down to it, finishing off this staircase required that the inside turn have its own railing, and so that's what this railing is here. And this one was, there was a lot of choice words that went into actually cutting and making this railing because it involves so many different angles coming from the 45 into a 90 and then into another 90, but from angle to angle to get you up here. Now, as you see, that's on the inside cut of the stair rail, which is what's required when you have any type of spiral serpentine staircase like this. So it gives you something to grab onto as you're walking up the inner side. Then the railing to the top. You know, this is, I'm calling this the gallery right here, specifically with Liz's wonderful lighting that she has here, these pendants that she picked out, and then the way that they hang and they just sort of drop down as you go down each step and then wrap around. It's a very soft light. It's a beautiful fixture. It was online and it wasn't anything too extravagant or expensive, but it just creates this wonderful feel to this foyer that we have here. And then standing up here in the gallery, we're certainly going to show you some pictures of what it used to look like because we couldn't even see that window. The staircase went halfway into that door, and this was, it was so narrow, I don't think you would have been able to get a mattress up here. That's what it used to be like. So now we've widened everything off. We've enclosed our chimney here, and then we cut a little 45 in here so it wasn't 90, just to match the 45 here of the step so that we do have this very wide sort of open feel. Now, for those eagle eyes out there on these projects, you know that the doors were going to be very custom on here because of the sizes we were dealing with, including a lower ceiling. So that's turning into a weekend project for me, and I'm going to take you with it. But in the meantime, in order to just really give everybody a little bit of privacy, we've done a very quick, and I like to think elegant solution, again, something Liz came up with just a piece of galvanized aircraft cable, tension between it, and then just a very simple curtain. And when the curtain's closed, you knock. When it's wide open, come on in. So let's come on in. This is the kids' room. This is Aiden's room. He really kind of decked it out, and he's got all his stuff in here now. Now, it was the smallest room in the house, but it's plenty big for a kid. We've got our closet here, and that's all finished off. We're going to do the same treatment on this that we did on the doorway, in that we're just going to stretch some aircraft cable. But it didn't feel like it was necessary now. We've got our blinds in place, and now these, you've seen the blinds that we had downstairs, which were up-down and down-up blinds, which kind of opened, and these are called blackout blinds. And so they do the same thing, where if you bring it down, you get the sheer, and then if you bring it out, you get a blackout blind, and that's great for sleeping. So that's kind of just really wraps us up. So we got a lot of space in here for a kid's room. Now, walking across, we did a similar treatment here in the bathroom, which might not lead to too much privacy, but we're really kind of a close-knit family at the moment. And believe me when I tell you that this is going to be the first door on my list. But that brings us into the bathroom, which is a plenty big bathroom. Now, we had that quick little step up that you just kind of saw, and that was just really when they leveled it up. We went ahead and we got a glass panel here on the shower, and the shower is fully functioning and it works. We've got our vent in up here, and that's a vent heat combination, and so that's taking any extra moisture we would have in this room and blowing it out, and that's important. We get a lot of light in here also, and so it's great to be able to see those lights come through. And I think eventually when we do put a door in, we'll probably use a frosted glass center panel just so that we can get that light coming out into the hallway. That was it. We really didn't do too much. It's the original slate, it's the original fixture, original sink. We might change the faucet, but we're really trying to get in here with as little expense as possible, because we had a lot of other expenses to deal with, and we'll get to that. So one of the other projects we did was just to really kind of put this linen closet in here, and then Liz built some shelves out of the scrap wood we had, and we had plenty of scrap wood, and then we just installed that. Now we're trying to figure out exactly what that door is going to look like, or even if we need a door. So those are all things that don't have to happen while anybody's expected to live here, but they're projects we can work on, and I'm hoping to get some of y'all input on that to see, well, we'll just see how it works, and then that'll be a nice weekend project in case you're interested in that. So now we have our hall closet here, which was a completely found space. This used to just have a pitched roof, and there was nothing here. In fact, between here and the bedroom, it was just this narrow hallway that took us between the two pitches of the old roof and the new roof. So I mean, you really had to tuck in your elbows and kind of roll into the master bedroom. So we have this closet here, and this closet is going to have a door eventually. This door is going to be a solid door, and it's going to open out. And then we put a light in here because since it's a deep closet, we're going to add some shelves, and there's going to be some rummaging, I'm sure, going on in there. And having a light is really going to help that out. So here we are into what we're calling the master bedroom suite. Again, every time I walk in here, I see Liz's treatment on the floor. This weathered wood look that she went through, and she brought through 3 different steps. The first one being on the first floor, the second one being in Aiden's room in the hallway here, and then the last one, and I think she really kind of nailed it here. This last one in this room just makes it feel very light, very airy. I mean, we have the 2 windows, we've got those blackouts and sheer curtains again. We've got her workstation up here. We've got a bed. Now, both of the beds, they don't have any box springs or just any type of bed fixtures at all. That's something we're going to build at another time. We've got these great closets, and that's the walk-through closet as I've coined it. And Liz has got a great idea for that to really kind of optimize that space. It's just to have something that rolls in and out with hangers and hooks on it. So it's going to be a whole panel that comes out and then slides back in. And then that's going to give us the ability to access on another rolling cabinet behind for deep storage, winter stuff, summer stuff, and then switching out for seasonal. And this is a great room. This is very big. I mean, we could have a couch up here if we wanted. We've got room for a TV, and I don't feel like I'm cramped, even though we're dealing with the lower ceilings and the smaller doors. It doesn't feel very cramped at all. That's it. That's where we've gotten us to the point where we're all wrapped up and moved in. A couple of the other things happening, those expenses that I were talking about, well, we had some issues dealing with the roof, and we knew it was an old roof. It was practically original on it, so they had to replace it. And so the crew has been here from On Top roofing, and they've been replacing it for the last couple of days, but that's an expense, and if you're ever looking to do a project like that, particularly with an older house like this, that's an expense that I wouldn't suggest undertaking. Have the professionals do it. In this case, On Top Roofing has come in, and they've been outstanding through the whole process, taking off the slate, taking off the original cedar shake shingles, and then putting down a whole new underlayment, and then weatherproofing that and frost protecting it. So, welcome to the New England Farmhouse. Welcome to it being wrapped and closed. We're gonna certainly invite people up here if you do want to come see it. Get in contact with us. Come check out this staircase. I can't stop gushing about it because how good it came out, but just see all the other little things that we put into this very modest, very small house in order to really kind of make it work and practical. So I thank you for coming along on these 75 days. Now we're going to switch over to those weekend warrior projects like I talked about. You've got the link in the description on the YouTube where you can put in projects that you want on the punch list, and then I'm going to come over and give you all a hand with those as we move along. So I appreciate any comments, ask away, and we'll see you all soon.